Hi there, here from Flexfire LEDs to show you the use of a snap connector and hope to alleviate some of the questions out there about these things. The first step is to remove the tray, or open the tray rather, just like that. It's pretty easy. Just get a nail into there and flip it back, and it hinges on this side like this. Okay. Now you'll see four little metal pins. Those pins are what are going to sit on top of the strip on the, hopefully you can see here, the little pieces, and when you get the strip you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Now there's a couple things you got to make sure you do. You got to make sure there's a couple little fins on the inside of this. This strip, once it needs to slide underneath, they're kind of like guides. If you don't go underneath them, it's pretty much impossible to get underneath the pins. Now the pins are almost like they're spring loaded, and that's what's holding them down against this. So to make sure you get a good contact, you got to make sure that the strip is nice and flat against the tray. So we're going to slide it underneath inside the guide. The guides were good. Now we get to this point, and this is where a lot of people have issues. When we go to slide this underneath these four little pins, we have to be very careful that the pins don't slide underneath the metal part and into like underneath the strip, or damage the little copper pieces that you're looking at. So what I like to do is put a little bit of a bend on the strip downward, so it's kind of arced down, and then slide this thing in, slide the strip in, and then I hold it real close to the tip there and I wiggle it back and forth until it's all underneath. Now there's no copper that's been pushed back, there's no craziness happening here, and I can also see that each one of those four pins is sitting right on top of the connection point. Now you'll also notice when you get these things, I don't know how well it'll show on the camera, but there's two little metal pointed pieces on this side, on the actual flap, and that's to help put pressure down on the four pins. Well, if the strip doesn't sit inside these two the two flaps on either side here, the guides, those will actually penetrate the strip and cause your lights to malfunction. So if you open up your tray and you have two little pinholes inside on your strip and your lights are going crazy colors, that's likely the cause. So make sure there's no damage there. We'll wiggle this thing back and forth. It slides right in. We close the tray. Okay, now we're ready. We're connected. We've got a good solid connection here. We're ready to test this. Now the next piece is, you might have got your strip from someone else, or a version change, or something happened where you're thinking that the lights aren't lighting up the right color. You press red on a controller or something and it turns green or blue. So how do we check that? Well, there's a pretty easy way to do it, and pretty much what you're doing is you're going to check each channel of the strip and see how it lines up, and make sure that when you touch the power from red to red or green to green or blue to blue, that it does just that. So what I'm going to do is, the red wire off the power supply, so we're using a DC female 21 or 2.1 by 5 by 5 connector to our power supply at 12 volts. The red goes to the black on the actual LED strip. Then we're going to connect it to the blue here, and the blue goes on. Now I'm going to connect it to the green, and the red goes on. I'm going to connect the red, and the green goes on. So the red and the green are switched in this case. So what we need to do is, when we go to wire this thing into our LED controller, instead of the red wire going to red, the red wire is actually carrying current to the green LEDs. So we want to put the red to the green and the green to the red. This should answer quite a few of your questions and alleviate some issues you've had. If you have any questions, give us an email at info@flexfireleds.com, and we'd be happy to help you through your project. Bye-bye.